Now, a knife-wielding suspect has been shot dead by police in South London. Authorities say 2 people were stabbed in a terror-related assault. The man behind the attack has reportedly been identified as someone with previous terror convictions. The authorities say they're confident the suspect was 20-year-old Suresh Aman. He was reportedly released from prison just days before after serving just half his 3-year sentence for the possession and distribution of extremist material. He was under active police surveillance at the time of the attack.
Alarming new numbers coming out of China and other countries around the world. A total of 361 people have died in China due to the new coronavirus, and a man in the Philippines died from the novel virus on Sunday, and this was the first death outside of mainland China.
The death toll in China from the coronavirus has exceeded the 349 mainland fatalities seen during the SARS outbreak in 2003. According to the latest figures from Chinese health officials on Monday, the total number of coronavirus deaths has reached 361 in China, and the confirmed cases stand at more than 17,000. That's more than 2,800 new confirmed cases and 57 new deaths in China compared to 24 hours earlier. This is the first time the number of daily deaths surpassed 50 since Chinese health officials began officially releasing statistics.
Opposition supporters in Malawi say last year's presidential election was rigged to favor Peter Mutharika, who narrowly won re-election over opposition leader Lazarus Chakwera. For months there have been demonstrations in several parts of the country, including the capital, Lilongwe. Government officials say at least 1 police officer was killed. Civil society groups accuse the police of using excessive force to disperse protesters. Demonstrators insist there were lots of irregularities, alleging many vote tally sheets were altered using typewriter correction fluid.
Libyans have been voicing their frustration and anger at what many see as the lack of meaningful effort to end the conflict. Much of that anger is directed at those who they see as responsible for prolonging hostilities. But it's also aimed at the international community, which they see as giving warlord Khalifa Haftar equal status with the internationally recognised government in Tripoli. The Berlin conference 2 weeks ago was meant to ease tensions and enforce a ceasefire. It has done neither. The international community, and Europe in particular, is as divided as ever over how to solve the problem.
Yes, well, it was Syrian government artillery shelling on one of the Turkish strong points. Turkey was reinforcing those strong points. Turkey says it responded to the shelling and it has gone on reinforcing those strong points. Now, we've known for months now that 2 of those strong points have already been surrounded by Syrian government forces. So Turkey is very angry about this because it says the Syrian government knew where the Turkish forces were, and it sees this as a deliberate attack, Damascus to Ankara. And presidential spokesmen have said, our soldiers will not die in vain, our state will make them pay a price for this stab in the back.
Police in Nova Scotia are investigating an incident at a school celebration. A cake that contained cannabis was served to children and staff, and that prompted many to go seek medical attention.
What we understand, our colleagues spoke to at least one of the parents who had sent their children to this particular school, which goes from kindergarten until grade 4, and it's in the community of Eskazoni, which is about 40 kilometers southwest of Sydney, Nova Scotia. And it turned out that on Friday, when her 8-year-old daughter came home from school, she was looking pale and sweating, complaining that her eyes felt sore. And the mother said that even after she woke up in the morning, she was still feeling exceptionally groggy. It was then that this parent, who spoke with her colleagues in Nova Scotia, said that another parent informed her that it appears that there had been a cake that was served at an event at this particular school and that it had cannabis in it.
This is the former president's second reported visit to Cuba for medical attention. Last year, Zuma spent some time in Cuba, only returning to South Africa days before his annual chess tournament and Christmas parties for children and the elderly in Kandla. He briefly commented on his health scare.
Chess tournament. Kodwa kanamandla akakwazanga nokudlala awu Nkosi yami andingibuzanga ngani ukuthi nginamandla noma nginawo nabhala into ningangibuzanga sekwenze njani ngoba nginamandla manje aphelele.
Hundreds of people remain stranded at a ski hill in the Fraser Valley. They've been stuck since Friday at Sasquatch Mountain Resort, a mudslide cutting off the main road leading up to the site. Now, despite those circumstances, a small number of people have been able to get away by taking to the sky.
Well, as you mentioned, the people there are still stuck. They've been stuck there since Friday night when this mudslide happened, and it followed days of quite heavy rain in the area, which led to this mudslide. The BC Ministry of Transportation says the slide wiped out 1 kilometer of road. And this is, as you mentioned, the only road that accesses the Sasquatch Mountain Ski Resort and the Hemlock Valley community. So the damage to this 1 kilometer stretch is significant. And the ministry says it is trying to restore 1 lane of traffic to be able to access the area.
At least 20 people have been crushed to death and 16 others injured during an outdoor religious service in Tanzania. Worshippers were attending a Pentecostal service at a stadium in the northern town of Moshi on Saturday evening when the incident occurred. Police say 20 have died, including at least 5 children and 16 women in the tragedy that happened when a crowd of worshippers was attending a prayer ceremony led by popular preacher Boniface Mwamposa, who heads the Arise and Shine ministry in Tanzania. According to the report, the stampede occurred when Mwamposa, who calls himself apostle, poured what he says was holy oil on the ground, and the crowd surged towards it to touch it.
We have worked with Google to make sure people searching for information about coronavirus see WHO information at the top of their search results. Don't worry, it's not corona.